the GOP's attempt to impeach President Biden have fully imploded, despite them refusing to admit it. They are, however, proceeding to try and impeach Alejandro Mayorkas, so Homeland Secretary. So he's being questioned today. They're very excited because he hasn't supposedly implemented laws around the border, whatever the hell that means. But in February, the star witness of the Republicans' impeachment attempts was indicted for lying to the FBI. His name is Alexander Smirnov, and he was the one who made these unsubstantiated claims that Biden had taken $5 million in a bribe from the executive of a Ukrainian energy company, Burisma. Also, he's probably a Russian op, as we now know. The FBI warned Republicans for months that the information about this guy, coming from this guy, was not reliable. But Oversight Chairman James Comer and others kept repeating it every single day. Fox, Newsmax, everywhere. There was this evidence of this payment. And yet, after February and this arrest of Alexander Smirnov and their informant, their tune changed a little bit and saying, he wasn't critical to our case against the president. Here's Comer last year and then just like a month ago.
This is a very crucial piece of our investigation. And the reason that I think it's very credible is this claim was made years before anyone knew about these different shell companies and knew exactly what the Biden family did in countries like Romania and China to get money. The whole ordeal there with the FBI informant wasn't relevant to the investigation. It was one part that we investigated, but the Democrats and the intelligence community are colluding with the media to try to say that that was a key part of the investigation, and therefore the investigation needs to end.
There's more to it. Why is he crying in that video? The media, big media collusion. Is he crying in that video to you? He's so glassy-eyed.
I mean, it's been
pivotal.
A rough road for that guy. It's been a very rough road for Comer because he let everybody down. And it's really amazing. First off, Smirnov handed in a Form 1023, I think it's called, which is basically the functional equivalent of like a suggestion box. But you put criminal, it's a tip line. Honestly, it was like a tip line. And he entered that in 2020. So this was actually a part of an attempt to beat Joe Biden in the 2020 election. And it was left over, and Comer picked it up. And if you remember, like when Chuck Grassley and because Grassley was in on this too.
Yes.
And you could tell that there was a bit of a problem because when they tried to corner Grassley on it, like, what does it say in this 1023? And goes, well, Comer's seen it. Like he kept dishing it off to Comer because he sort of knew that this was going to end poorly. Now, I don't think he realized that, like, because the FBI was saying, like, look, there is a 1023, but anybody can put in a 1023. And we just don't think this guy's being credible at all. And I don't think Grassley knew that the guy would get arrested because he was so blatantly lying. But I think Grassley knew this was going to fall apart. And then Comer has since pivoted. You saw like the collusion. He said they were going to do criminal referrals, but it is unclear instead of impeachment. They've already like basically said, we're not doing the impeachment. We're going to do criminal referrals. And it's unclear who they're going to refer, presumably to the DOJ, and it'll just go away. And they'll say, like, well, Merrick Garland is out of control. Killed it. But it's unclear who they have now to send criminal referrals about because they did such a poor job of creating villains and different players and this and that. Like it may exist in their hermetically sealed bubble. Like I have no doubt that, you know, your crazy uncle can list off 8 associates of the Biden crime family that were, you know, part of a shell company.
I don't even know if they've got the names. I just think the die has been cast. I mean, I was on a panel with some Piers Morgan panel, and like everyone on the panel was very firmly believing that there was some kind of thing they didn't know how to explain that happened. Like, they were just like,
they didn't have any names. There wasn't any
there's
like
no name. They're just like, yeah, there was bribery, and there was a paybacks, kickbacks from foreign governments, and that kind of,
shell
again,
companies.
you're right, shell companies. And remember
last clip I saw of Comer, he was talking about an $18,000. He had a
you just made up a number.
He had a flow chart, and it started with like, some Chinese company maybe, and then $5 million going to a Hunter Biden affiliated company, and they gave Hunter $400,000, which was presumably his commission or whatever, and then Hunter gave it to $50,000 to James Biden, his uncle, and then
it was like a Rube Goldberg machine of how.
By the time it gets to Joe Biden, it's $18,000 for him to supposedly do whatever China says, and it's like. The dude's gonna sell out the whole country for $18,000. Like, you can't even get like a
times are tough in Delaware
Kia for that. Like, what are you doing? Don't you do it's it's like $18,000. Like, what this is that exactly 1835? Like, that's not real money.
Well, now because before they were like, Christopher Wray won't let us see the 1023, and now they're like, Christopher Wray told us this was, he was the one who showed us the 1023. He didn't warn us. It's like, but they were warning them. Yeah, he set us up for this.
See the 1023. He totally set us up.
So here's AOC sort of very, very clearly explaining what the fuck are we still doing talking about this impeachment.
Impeachment inquiry is based on an actual provable individual who has lied. Now, responsible leadership would withdraw an inquiry based on that. Withdraw it. Instead, what we are seeing is that this committee was warned about the falsehoods of these allegations long before that, warned by Trump's Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and yet they proceeded anyway. The chairman proceeded anyway. This committee was warned by Rudy Giuliani associate right here, Lev Parnas.
Good old Lev. Whatever happened to Lev?
I mean, he's still out and about.
Okay. Shall you see him at the club?
I went as him once for Halloween.
Really? Did you have to dress up at all? How'd you? Is Lev?
It was the night of Halloween.
Does he have the short bangs, or
I have no idea, but I'm trying to pull this out. He wore a medallion, and I found something like this around the house. And my son was like, "You got to go with something." And I put this around my neck and said, "I'm Lev Parnas." And my son didn't enjoy the costume.
God, that is first of all, don't get me started on dressing up as something political for Halloween. It's setting you to talk to the most boring person at the rave, just setting you up for that. Like, there's only one person who's going to be like, hey, what's up? Are you Lev Parnas? That's so funny. Hey, what do you think about Giuliani? And you're like, fuck, dude, the ecstasy's hitting right now, and I do not want to have this conversation.
Well, I'm that guy that you just described. So now I feel a little bit embarrassed.
I don't know if I ever
approaching people.
I don't know if I said this on the show before, but once for Halloween, I went, we're getting off topic, but I went as, this was October of 2016. So I went as I dressed as a skeleton, and I wrote on each bone her emails, grab her by the pussy, like bankrupting casinos. What was I?
You were skeletons in his closet?
Yes, I was a skeleton in Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump's closet, right? And
okay, in both their closets.
As the edible,
it's very conceptual.
Yes, well, as the edible was hitting, just the smarmiest guy in the whole party was like, "Hey, I really like your costume. That's really cool. I get it." I was like,
and he is now the father of your child.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's keep going.
After that document about the falsehoods of this, then held hearings where your own expert witnesses said that there was no grounds for impeachment, and you proceeded anyway. And finally, as if none of this was enough, the FBI arrested the individual who was the source of the entire, to quote the chairman, heart of the matter, to launch this impeachment inquiry, and proceeded anyway. At this point, the story is not the fact that the basis of this impeachment inquiry is wrong. The story is why it's proceeding anyway.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stop it there. But I think that's a pretty fucking good point. But this is like from a month ago. So at this point they've stopped, because here's a week ago with Comer and Jamie Raskin. Take a look.
I agree, we deserve transparency. Hopefully in our investigations, the administration will turn over the pseudonym emails and the her tapes and all the other items of relevance to our other investigation that we have ongoing. With respect to
Is that one still ongoing? I wasn't sure.
yes, it's
Oh, it is.
yeah,
Okay,
I know.
gotcha.
Well, see, you need to stop watching CNN. You need to go to Main Street and ask people.
You need to go to Main Street and ask what people want to see, hear the her tapes, which are now about Biden's classified documents, in which he's a well-meaning elderly man with a great memory, or not so good memory.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like it's pretty amazing. It's got to be pretty amazing to be James Comer and have your colleagues so openly mock you to your face and know that even like Comer doesn't seem to have like the
He's the
quiver.
right guy for this job, though.
He doesn't seem to have the quiver for quips. Like,
Not at all.
Jamie Raskin, who is, also, I wouldn't say like the funniest guy in the House, but he's sitting there mocking Comer, and Comer's like, well, CNN.
You watch a little too much CNN.
You got to go to
Anyway.
Main Street and ask people about what, like, there's no there. And
The her tapes. Oh God.
It's fascinating to watch this implode. And supposedly he had said the way that he pivoted it off of because, was following a decent amount of this.
Mm-hmm.
He would go on right-wing shows and they would keep going like, hey, where's the stuff?
Give us something.
Everybody's gearing up for this. This is, we were supposed to be doing like our own version of like, an OJ saga in this year. Like and everybody was anticipating, having this impeachment thing, and it completely fizzled out. And so he sort of, the way he wrapped it all up was to say that he was going to do these criminal referrals, and they just don't, he's not even bringing it up anymore. It seems like all they need to do is say criminal referrals for a week or two, and then hopefully nobody will remember.
Which sounds very serious. Like that sounds like you've done your impeachment inquiry, you've impeached this president, and now you're doing criminal referral. Like that just seems.
The criminal referrals are all the little bit players who have been supporting this major scandal. The problem is
crime family.
They haven't figured out exactly what the major scandal is, so they can't quite come up with the criminal referrals.
They will end this entire inquiry in just zeroing in on Commander Biden. Like the dog. Mark my words, it's just going to end with the dog. Well, he's bitten at least 7 security personnel. And that's fine. And we will go with that. We'll let them have that win. And Commander will join whatever other dog was also taken out to some pasture.
The real question is there a federal statute that is like essentially like a federal pooper scooper law? Because maybe there's an opportunity to send some criminal referrals, relative to commanders. Like, if he poops on federal ground, it may be like a whole another level of criminal culpability.
Oh, absolutely. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuationroom. Do it.